Hello and welcome, this is rooflemonger, and in this video, which is admittedly some speculation on my behalf, we will be covering characters who are likely to make it into Season 2 of Dragon Ball Fighterz. Also, some characters maybe not as likely. So before anything else, let's just quickly talk about Jiren. So if you are not aware, Jiren is 100% confirmed. He is going to be in Season 2. This is not a maybe. We have the jump scan right here. It is just a still picture. There's nothing else. There's no context. There's no potential moves he has. There's no level 3. No nothing, right? But he will be in Season 2. So basically, he should be the first thing you're looking forward to on the 27th. But anything past Jiren is speculation, and but we can make some pretty educated guesses as to that. Now, as for Jiren himself, I'll just say as personal commentary, super stoked, can't wait. I love Jiren, strength is justice, and I cannot wait to crush as many Gokus as I can under my feet with Jiren, because it's gonna be amazing. But anyways, that said, so to judge how likely or unlikely a character is to make it into Season 2, we'll be using a tried and tested method, and that is using the Fat Monkey markers. So the Fat Monkey will appear, and he will say if a character is likely or not likely. So now let's start with our first character on the board here, Ultra Instinct Goku. So Ultra Instinct Goku. Now that we have Jiren basically as a lock, he's kind of a lot more likely. And I know probably half you guys are shaking your heads right now saying, you know, you don't want no more Gokus. And hey, I agree with you. But the true fact of the matter is, if Ultra Instinct Goku gets released, he'll be the highest selling DLC bar none. As a company, it is basically the most financially obvious thing to do. It'll be your most moved units of any DLC. And it's just kind of hard to argue against that. So, obviously, he'd have a moveset. He'd probably have to have a couple special gimmicks considering how powerful he is. But in the end, if they put him out, they'll make a lot of money. And they'll make a lot more money than basically anyone else you actually would prefer over Ultra Instinct Goku. And that's just the facts. So, how likely is Ultra Instinct Goku? Well, he's very likely. And the only thing holding him back is maybe a little bit of backlash against Goku fatigue, but I'm sure they can dry those tears with all the money they'll make from him. Now, someone who might be a little less divisive than Ultra Instinct Goku is Kefla. Now, Kefla, well requested, a lot of people request her on multiple levels. 1, cool character. 2, cool moveset. 3, you know, a lot of people complain not much female representation in the game, which is not wrong. They're definitely not wrong about that. Definitely not too many ladies in the game, that is for sure. Popular character on the Tournament of Power. Tournament of Power, obviously, the most recent big arc on Dragon Ball Super. So, yeah. When it comes to Kefla, honestly, how likely is she? Very, very, very likely. To the point where I'd say she's near a lock. She works great as a character. She has a good aesthetic. She'll work great with a moveset in the game. They have a lot of options to choose from her, both from her moveset, or they could just steal moves from Caulifla and Kale by themselves as well. Yeah, so basically, as a potential character, she's pretty much a total package. Now, with that said, how about Caulifla or Kale as their own characters? Obviously, you can break them into their own thing. Even a couple suggestions I heard myself, which I actually found quite interesting, is you kind of have them as a mini Ginyu Force kind of deal. So either Caulifla or Kale is the lead character, and they call the other character in at their special moves, just reminiscent of, say, the tag team fight when they fought Goku in the Tournament of Power. So that said, how would they come off as a character? Well, individually, without, say, this little tag concept, I don't know if they have as much of a possible moveset to pull from. As a tag character, it gets a little easier because then you can kind of just put them together, and it gets a lot more reasonable when it comes to moveset stuff. But with the shadow of Kefla looming, and in fact Kefla is a very likely character to come in, I have to say Caulifla or Kale as their own characters is not very likely. Maybe in the future, especially when Super comes back, maybe they get more airtime, they can build a greater repertoire of moves, develop as their own characters better. But for the moment, I don't really feel they'll be characters in Season 2. Since we know Jiren is a lock, then how about other characters from Universe 11? Well, I guess the biggest example would probably be Toppo, and I know in English he's Top, but I have not caught up on the dub yet, so he's still Toppo, at least in my current memory. Maybe in the future when I call him the dub. Anyways, I'm digressing here. So Toppo, big part of the tournament power, won a lot of fans, and he's a strong character choice if you were going to do this with any character, to be a truly modular character, as in like a stance character. Like, I know Frieza, you can spend 3 bars and get Golden Frieza, but in the end, is it a big part of the character? Well, not really. It's nice, but it's not a defining trait. For Toppo, it'd be nice if you could just do that, because Toppo in the usual form, while he has some stuff, it's notably just kind of the bear hug and justice flash over and over and over. And obviously we have God of Destruction Toppo. That's where a lot of people started getting won over to his cause. He got a lot of cool stuff. He's a very physically imposing character. So if they were ever going to try a stance character, or maybe not even just a stance, but you start one way and once you, just like Golden Frieza, once you go over, it's permanent. Well, I guess not like Golden Frieza in that regard. You will stay as God of Destruction Toppo once you reach whatever requirement they may be. There's a lot of strong gameplay stuff you could do with this kind of character, as he definitely has 2 very distinct and 2 very separate forms, but neither of them by themselves, at least in my opinion, would be good as a standalone character. But if you put them together and you kind of build towards God of Destruction while starting in normal form, I think that would be something pretty neat. How likely is he compared to everyone else in Season 2? I'm going to say there's a good chance. This is not a lock. It's definitely not, money makers like Ultra Instinct Goku or Kefla, but he definitely has a fan base. He definitely is in the conversation more than a lot of other characters, and I think there's a real chance he could make it. Moving on from Toppo, or Top if you prefer, we do have Dyspo. So Dyspo, obviously one of the Pride Troopers, had some decent amount of screen time in Tournament of Power, had some decent fights even, but as a character, he doesn't have much personality. There's not too much to draw from him moveset wise. You might have to basically kind of invent a couple moves from whole cloth if you're really gonna go for it, or get really creative in what you're pulling inspiration from. So while Jiren's a lock, I think Toppo is fairly likely. I gotta say, Dyspo, I think he's not very likely at all to make it in Season 2, and potentially never make it into the game. Now, moving on from the Tournament of Power stuff here, let's talk about movie Broly and movie Gogeta from the new film. I'm going to tell you right now, this is highly likely, straight up, before anything else. This is super likely. But there is a caveat. There is no way these guys aren't a package deal. They don't necessarily have to be released together, but there's no way you're going to release one without releasing the other. Obviously, the new movies come out, generally speaking, very positive reviews, and everyone seems to like it. So, hey, their stock in Broly and Gogeta, all-time high. It's only smart business, honestly, to release them as DLC. Right now, as a moneymaker, just being super cynical, as a moneymaker, their money-making potential, hey, the time is right, do it now. And if you're going to do it, they should be the first DLC characters coming in hot off the pipeline. So once again, I think they are very likely, but they're definitely a package deal. If one's not coming out, the other one's not coming out. But to me, these guys are almost a lock, especially given how popular the movie is. Next up, let's talk Raditz. I know a lot of people want Raditz, and I think some of the people who want Raditz are maybe a little dishonest in saying they want Raditz. But then again, I think there's a lot of people who truly, real deal, want Raditz in there. And with Raditz, is there a moveset available for him? Yes, absolutely. He can absolutely support a moveset in this game. Supers, all that, no problem. Double Sunday, as far as the eye can see. Now, I'm going to say right now, as a Season 2 character, I got to say Raditz is unlikely. But there's a caveat to that. He is unlikely. However, as the game goes, because the game will have quite a lifespan too. I'm going to tell you guys right now. We have Season 2, expect a Season 3, expect a Season 4. As the game keeps going, he will be more likely as the game lifespan just continues on. Right now, with the way it currently stands with the movie, the Broly movie just coming out, with the Dragon Ball Super Tournament Power arc ending and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of stuff to mine right now that is just honestly more popular and would make more money. But as stuff goes on forward in time, as we start mining more for fan favorites more than just what's current, I do believe Raditz has an exponentially stronger chance to make it in the game as time goes on. So for Season 2, I don't believe in him for Season 2, but for a Season 3 or Season 4 and going onwards and all that, he definitely has a larger chance moving on into the future. Now, moving on from just the realm of canon, let's talk Janemba. Janemba, a character that has been heavily requested for Season 2, and just the fact that they had Broly as a character, you know, before the whole Broly movie was a thing, making Broly canon, you know, kind of proved they are willing to put in non-canon characters. And I gotta say, as a personal choice, I would be over the moon with Janemba as a character. Let's just talk as a character in this game. Janemba in this game, the way the game's art style is done, would look like $1,000,000. All the Digislide stuff, all the way he does his attacks and all that kind of stuff, he would look so good. Obviously, we're going to be talking about like Slim Red Janemba, because Giant Big Boy Janemba, even though I would personally love that as well, definitely probably doesn't fit into the confines of the game. But yeah, as a character, it's hard for me to think of a character that could show off the power of your game engine and animation system more than Janemba. Now, obviously, at this point, there's nobody that's not sold on the animations, how the Arc System Works engine looks like, you know, like Guilty Gear, this, all that. Like, everyone's like, agrees it works great, right? Everyone agrees that it looks great as well. But I still think Janemba would look so good. Obviously, the moveset's not an issue. He got so much to mine from the movie. I think he would just be a great playing character and just fit into the game so well. So, is he likely or unlikely? I'm going to say there's a chance. If I had to weigh towards likely or unlikely, I'd say I'd lean a little bit more towards more likely, because they do have to fill up slots. They do have to put in popular characters, because in the end, DLC exists to make money, right? Alright, so now that we've talked about these characters, let's go with our final and least likely, coming in at a resounding 0% likely character to make it in the game, Bulma in a mech. Now, I know I've kind of made this a little meme, but listen to me for a second, because I may be joking a little bit, but I'm also not joking. Bulma in a mech works, okay? Just listen to me, okay? One, Bulma has a history of being in a mech. It's been done. So we don't got to worry about that. Two, hey, there you go. You got another lady character for the game. That solves that issue, right? In versus games, the mech character, I'm talking mostly about Sentinel and Tron Bonne, is a very successful archetype, and an archetype that does not exist in Dragon Ball Fighterz currently. So when I talk about Bulma in the mech, I'm not just only talking about Bulma the character in a mech, but I am also talking about that kind of archetype of character in the game. There's a lot that can be done. You can do the Arc System Works twist to it and work it whatever way you want to work it. But I just think there is value in a mech style character, be it based off Tron Bonne DNA or Sentinel DNA, or just doing your own thing. But I do think that works, and plus, hey, everyone likes Bulma. Bulma should be in the game some way, somehow, and this is the easiest way to cheat her in. And there you have it. So that's just some of my speculation, some of my thoughts on who has a chance and who doesn't. There's obviously a lot of characters to talk about. There's basically the whole Dragon Ball universe to talk about. Be it kind of outside characters, like, hey, do you want Kami to be his own character? I actually heard someone try to argue for Kami. Not like Kami Piccolo, just like plain old Kami. And with that in mind, like, maybe not, probably maybe not. But if you gotta go that way, then hey, Garlic Jr. actually kind of would be able to pull off a moveset in this game. And I didn't put in Ribrion just because that'll be a fight. But if I had to do it, Ribrion actually is kind of likely, because she totally has a moveset that would work. And love her or hate her, and I know mostly hate her, I think she'd actually sell better than you think she would. But all that said, that's just where I'm coming from on the matter, and we'll find out very shortly. So once again, I say this every time, but if you don't know, January 26th and 27th is the Dragon Ball Fighterz World Tour, and the Grand Finals will be on the 27th. And at the conclusion of these will be the giant big reveals, giant big announcements, so please check those out, because we'll find out whether all this speculation was worth it or not at that point. So tune in, not only for the reveals, but please tune in for the gameplay too, because there's going to be world-class gameplay happening, and I'm sure it'll be very fun. Anyways, that's it for me. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.